Yeah. Okay, all right. Recording started.
All right. Hey guys, thank you all for joining our second Paralus community call. So I am sharing my screen. So we're just gonna go few the quick meeting etiquettes that we follow. So yeah, anybody needs to ask any question, please click on the raise hand and wait for your time, and you will be given an option to ask any questions. And yeah, if there's any other questions that you want to, please you can put it in the chat or even reach out to us in the Slack. Right. So today is the February 13th, the second Tuesday call, and this is the agenda for today. So yeah, we have one new person today who's joined us. So Atul has been, one of the core members of Paralus since the inception, and he continues to contribute whenever he gets chance, and I'll allow him to introduce himself.
Hey, thanks a lot, Nirav. Thanks, Akshay. Thank you so much for starting these calls. I'm really sorry for being absent for the previous ones. I'll sure try to be more active here. And yeah, I think like Nirav told, I've been part of Parallels quite from quite the start, and I've helped have it onboarded as sandbox project as well. So while Nirav and Akshay are the technical brainchilds behind Parlous, whatever you probably see on the website, on the blog, social media is what I contribute majorly to. So if you are going through the docs or going to the website, and if you have come across anything that's not done well, or if you have a better suggestion, you know whom to reach out to get your contribution in and to get that fixed. So yeah, that's all about me. Looking forward to the discussion, everything about Paralus. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Atul. Yeah, looking forward to, see you more around. And thank you for all the work that you've done previously. So we'll get on to the agenda. Right. So we had a couple of things that we had in mind for today's discussion. The first is we wanted to go through the upcoming milestone. So February is release month for us, and we would like to go through a few features and bugs and just touch base upon them, or what you can expect in the upcoming release. So I'll start with that. Yes, right. So you guys can just go to github.com/parallels/parallels and come to the milestones. So we have a bunch of components, right? So the upcoming Parallels version is v0.2.8, and the Parallels core app version is 0.2.7. So clicking on that, you will get to see the latest features and issues that folks, the team is working on, or even folks who are contributing to Parallels are working on. In case if you are interested in even contributing to Parallels, feel free to just go through these list of issues, find a good first issue, and assign it to yourself, and you can feel free to reach out to us as well, and we'll help you in getting started. Right. So coming back, so for the upcoming release, which is due on February 28th, which is the Thursday, so we have close to five issues, out of which one is a feature. We'll quickly just go through each of these and what it solves, or what at least we're trying to do here. Right. So the first one is a feature. So we've always been there was always been a gap start right from the beginning, right? So once you import, if you've ever tried Parallels out, you know that once if you import a cluster, there is no way to know whether the target cluster is still connected or not from the dashboard, right? So unless you click on the web kubectl, and then eventually it fails on you, and then it says could not establish connection, right? So that was the only way to know that, okay, the connection between the relay server and the agent is lost. So this is one enhancement which folks have been asking for, the community has been asking for, and we have picked it up this time for this time's release. So what you can expect here is, whenever the target cluster, essentially the agent, connects to the relay server, it is eventually going to update the cluster status, which you will be seeing in the dashboard, right? So if there is a connection failure between the server and agent, you'll eventually see that failure status, and so on and so forth. So that keeps updating automatically based on the connection between the server and the agent. So that's one feature. Hope that will at least give some idea on whether the cluster is connected, or if not, you know where to go, right? You know there's an issue between the server and the relay agent, and you know where to check. So that's one thing. Second one is again an issue reported quite some time back. So this is something that we have been kind of triaging, and we trying to fix almost in v0.1.3 and below. It was identified in relay server as part of relay server, right? So there was issues, or folks have been complaining that the connection between the relay server and relay agent over a period of time drops due to few reasons, right? So that was causing an issue, and we have a workaround for this at this point. But however, this is something that we are kind of monitoring, trying to figure out what exactly is the reason behind the connection drop, and we will eventually try to figure out the problem and fix it. This is something that we are looking forward to fixing it either as part of 0.2.7, or if not, we'll push it out. But at least as of now, it's part of the plan, right? So the third one is again, there have been queries around, hey, how do I do a HA kind of mechanism for Paralus, right? So Paralus kind of scales internally. So the server and agent connections kind of scale depending on the number of requests getting to the relay server. That is already done within the server part of the code. But however, there would be a necessity where you would want to probably scale horizontally as well, right? That is where we have observed a problem with the relay peering mechanism. So it's possible that the connection between the agent and the relay server, or one of the relay server has the connection, and your request reaches to the other relay server. So how does it know, where to connect to the, or how does it get the connection to the relay agent? So that's where peering comes into the picture. So we've been observing some issues with the peering lately. So we are still working on identifying that and fixing it, and probably coming up with some guidance document for HA. Right? So that's the third one, and the fourth one is you are able to, essentially users are able to port forward, even if you're a namespace read only issue user, right? So given a user with a particular role which is namespace read only, you can still port forward and access your clusters, which should not be allowed. So that's something that we intend to fix. And the last but not least is again not a major issue, but uh, folks who are using Postgres less than 14 along with Parallels have observed this issue where migration scripts fail. The reason being Parallels less than, or Postgres version less than 14 does not support create or replace keywords, right, for your functions. So that is something that we are planning to fix, and yeah, so you will probably see a few PRs out there. Feel free to go through the code change. Feel free to comment on it. Feel free to start a discussion in case if you have anything. But these are the five things that you can expect in the upcoming release. Right. So, any questions, guys?
Yeah,
All
just
right.
one
And
thing to add.
assuming, yep. Yes.
So yeah, just one thing to clarify. We some like basically this is Parallels version 0.2.7. That's the Parallels code Parallels repo next release. But the Helm chart version would be 0.2.8. Okay.
Yes.
So, yeah, so that there is always like some sort of difference between the repo version and the Helm chart version. Okay. And yeah, we
Yep.
sometimes refer Parallels by its Helm chart version in order to
Yep.
include all the repos that are going in, all the repo version that are going in that Helm chart. But yeah,
Yes.
this is there is something we like. It I get confusing sometimes. Like when we say Parallels 0.2.7, whether it is Parallels core or Helm chart or something else, that it is that might be confusing for a few users. But yeah, but as of now, like the standardization that we have set for ourselves is like the Helmchart version is the version that refers to the complete the new release, okay, or the next release that we are calling. Basically, next release will
Okay.
be 0.2.8. That is the
8,
Helmchart.
correct.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, yeah, very good point, Akshay. Yeah, because that kind of gets confusing. So as a thumb rule, we generally refer to the Helm chart version, which is the bundle of all the components, which is 0.2.8. That is what we'll keep referring to, and even in the release notes, you'll find that only. But yeah, just don't get confused. In case if you go to the respective components, you'll see that the releases might vary because 0.2.8, it's possible that there is no change in the relay, and you would be able to see, right, that relay, the last release that went in was September 25th, and it's still v0.1.6. So the respective components version might change. So that's a fair point, and we'll, as a thumb rule, we'll generally refer to the Helm chart Paralus version as the latest version every time. Yeah, thank you for that. All right. So, any other questions, folks? If you're watching this later, feel free to reach out to us in Slack, and we can discuss further. All right. So, let's move on.
I have
In the
one more
interest of
thing to
time.
share.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So yeah, while just going through the release items, I want to like uh, just share one quick idea. So basically, we are using the milestone for tracking all the release items, right? Um,
Mhm.
this is good. This works as long as we have all the release tasks from one repo. But if you have like uh, different issues from different repositories, like the relay or prompt or dashboard, then this milestone might not work. Or we have to create different milestone in each one of the repo present
Right.
under Parallels organization, right? So yeah, one
Right.
suggestion would be we could start using the GitHub projects. That is the all
Mhm.
level all level the project is our level identity that entity that we can use, which will basically have the references to different issues, pull requests, or different tasks from uh, from different repos under Parallels. Yeah, so that is something we might start using as one of the uh,
Yeah, that
maybe going
makes
forward we
sense.
can
I
use
guess. Yeah,
that one.
I guess at a particular point in time we were using it, but then somehow we moved on. But yeah, I think this is definitely better, and it solved the problem of having multiple different milestones for each repo. So
Mhm.
let's give with this a shot from probably the next release, that's after Feb, right?
Mhm.
After Feb, we'll probably create a project and we'll start tracking v0.2.9 using this, and we'll see if we are getting significant benefit, then we'll continue doing so. But yeah, that's a great suggestion. Thank you.
Okay, all right, thank you.
All right, thank you. So let's move on to the next agenda. Okay, Akshay, do you want to talk a bit about the parallel score?
All right.
Parallel score
Yeah,
component.
thank you.
Okay, let me know
Um,
in case you
yeah,
open
just
the website or something.
yeah, good. Yeah, you can open the site. Yeah, so
Okay.
basically just for the audience, since we have like we have some time in this meeting from the last meeting, so basically we wanted to have some kind of knowledge sharing session that would be useful for others to know more about Parallels. Okay, so that's what we thought in the last meeting, and yeah, I think in the last time, like Nero shared a brief introduction about Parallels, um, and he talked about like the different first class object and their usage. Okay, so this time I just wanted to go deep into one of the component, that is Parallels core. Okay, which is the main component of the Parallels or the main backbone of Parallels, I would say. Yeah. So basically, it's you can compare it with the API server of Kubernetes, which expose different APIs for different resources. Resources like organization, the project, cluster, role binding, and there are a lot more. Okay, so it will serve as a API server for creating, managing, or doing everything with the different resources that Parallels provide. Okay. Um, it also like have yeah, as it's rightly said here, it's the heart of Parallels. We could say that, and yeah, it handles the uh, authorization and authentication of these different resources. Okay, so all the requests that you hit via maybe CLI or maybe other client like dashboard or something, right? So basically everything goes through this Parallels code. It just do all this the authentication, authorization, then processing that request, and then it will give out the result. Okay. Underneath it, it's a gRPC server. It's what we use. And like basically it's a we have like different RPCs for each of the resources. Um, and along with the RPCs, there is like it also support like REST calls. Okay, so inside like underneath it's RPC, and on top of that we have like the gateway, which will do all the conversation from REST to gRPCs. And yeah, so basically you can like call RPC as well as like REST API calls to the backend. Okay, yeah. That's bit of the Parallels code. And yeah, it's basically the repo that Atul has shared in the chat. It basically points to the Parallels code, which is github.com/parallels/parallel. Okay. Along with all these resources or like the the implementation and the different mechanism to control resources. There are other things that are listed here, which are present inside core itself, such as Ori Kratos, then Casbin, and then Sentry, which are the three major, I would say, major mini component inside this Parallels code. I'll just walk you quickly through this component. So the Kratos is basically a different like open source cloud native identity and user management tool. It basically handles all the authentication of every request that comes to the code. Okay. So whether it's a login or whether it's accessing some users or some cluster. Okay, so all the requests that you hit for the backend, it will go through the Kratos. Um, it will have its own session management. Then it will have the OIDC support also, which is out of like it support OIDC out of box. So that's what we even use as a part of like when you say we support OIDC, it's a Kratos handling all those things. Yeah, and it on the very high level, it has like different user interface to interact with Kratos. Generally, as a normal user, you don't have to interact with Kratos directly. Like hitting the Parallels endpoint would be enough for you. But in order to like maybe debug or to get deep into maybe troubleshooting some issues, you might want to look into the Kratos for that. Yeah, and for that, like it support different interfaces. Like there is an administrative interface which can be used to manage users. Okay, to maybe to get around a list of users and maybe do some operations of user that can be done via administrative. Again, on the normal Parallels installation, this you administrative interface, which is the admin API, it is not exposed to the public. It is something that is only only used by Parallels core for the user management. But for other stuff like getting the session or validating the session, um, for validating the session, there is the public endpoint which is exposed to the public, okay, which can be used to validate any kind of maybe session or any other operation that public interface support. Yeah. So that is something you can always check the Origator's repository to know more about it. Um, yeah, another component inside Parallels core is Casbin, which is basically a library that is used to that is basically enforce policies, and it basically do the authorization of all this endpoint. It basically ensures that all the user actions are legit and have the proper authorization or access to that. um, for example, if um, yeah, if a read-only user try to write something or do some edit operation on any of the resources like cluster, it will the Casmin is something is the component which restrict that access. Okay, yeah. Again, generally you don't have to work with Caspian directly. It's something that Parallels Code uses underneath to do all this authorization or to enforce all these policies. Okay. The reason behind using these third-party tools are like they are like industry standards, and like they have like they are there out there for long time, and it has evolved a lot. And instead of like having our own um, own component for this thing, it generally a good idea to use something which is already there. Okay. And yeah, it integrate very well with Parallels, both of these components. Okay. The third component is Sentry, which is the internal package, which is something the and which is we have written in the Parallels. Okay, so all the code for Sentry is present in Parallels code itself. So it is responsible for generating the kube configs or doing all the kubectl operation. Okay, so all the authentication of kubectl request, then basically doing authentication as well as like managing all the kubectl operation that user requested. It goes through the Sentry. Okay. Uh, yeah, and as I just said here, like it take care of role binding Kubernetes related authentication tasks. Yeah. So that is something that's all about Sentry. Yeah, we can always check the Sentry code inside I just package in the GitHub repo that will have all the internals of that one, the Sentry. Yeah, so this is like this is the diagram that shows the different flows of different um, different flows of Parallels. There are a lot many components out in this diagram. This is basically the architecture of the Parallels. So I think we have already covered the Parallels core, which is basically one which is at the core. It connects to the Postgres for database for like storing data and managing all the data. It uses Postgres for that. Yeah, and as you can here see, it has connected to Kratos, then the relay server and all, which is we haven't spoke about. Maybe in future meeting we will talk about the relay and prompt more briefly. Yeah. Apart from that, there are few miscellaneous components such as FileBit and Elasticsearch. Okay, which basically handles the auditing or basically stores and manage the audit logs. Okay, as you are already maybe aware of that, like Parallels have the auditing functionality, which will it will store all the every action that user or any system perform on the parallel system. So we have the auditing mechanism. So for that, so basically the file bit or fluent bit. These are the two components which basically collect the auditing logs from different components like Parallels, Relay, and other component. And in 10, once it collect all these audit logs, it will forward that logs after processing to Elasticsearch or Postgres. Okay. So again, we can use for auditing, storing audit log, we can use either Postgres or Elasticsearch based on how we have configured it. Okay. So that is something about few miscellaneous component. Um, Anything? Yeah, that I think that covered the part that I want to share here as a part of Parallels Core. Uh,
Hey, thank you, Akshay. That was insightful, and it's good to know what are the various components, right? So in case if you guys are facing any issues, just you know where to look at. And just one thing I wanted to add was, in addition to all these things that Akshay spoke, Parallels Core also handles bootstrapping, right? So if you guys are aware, or if you guys don't know, so Parallels and the all the other components, right? They interact with each other via MTLS, right? So the mutual TLS happens, and that's how secure Parallels and all the other components are. That's why we even claim that it's a zero trust, Kubernetes access management solution, because all the internal components also interact with each other via MTLS, right? So Parallels Core acts as a cert authority. It generates a certificate. It generates client certificates for all the components, various components that are listed here, which includes relay server, relay agent, and all. And whenever relay server has to talk to Parallels, it presents the certificate, and Parallels Core authenticates the request coming in from all the other components. And that's how we have achieved the zero trust security model here. So that's another thing I just wanted to add. Yeah, thank you, Akshay.
Thank you.
All right. Any question? Any questions, folks? And probably Atul. If not,
Nope, nothing
all
specific
right.
from my side. I think, Akshay gave a really good overview of the, architecture and core components. And if anyone, watching this have any concerns or, need more clarification around any of these components, please, join our Slack community, quite active there. Just drop a note that, you'd want to know more about how a particular thing works. And I'm sure all three of us could get there and help you out. Yeah.
Yep. Thank you. And yeah, feel free to join these bi-weekly calls as well, where we discuss a lot more in detail about all the various components, upcoming features, and in case if you have some interesting idea to share, we could definitely take that in. So yeah, in the interest of time, we don't have any other agenda items for today, but we would like to hear more from you guys when you watch this. If there's something else that you want to be included as part of the meetings, upcoming meetings, please do just post a note, and we will